Coming up on Cronkite NewsWatch.
We've got your update now that the 2014 legislative session has closed.
Well, it may be sunny here in Gilbert, but there's still a black cloud of controversy surrounding Arizona's healthcare system for veterans.
Postal Service workers are angry at Staples. Find out why.
One Valley school is teaching more than just math, science, and reading by adding culture into the mix.
In-depth, insightful, innovative. Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
The legislative session may be at an end, but there is no rest in sight for Arizona's lawmakers. From unfinished business at the Capitol to a bevy of bills still needing action from the governor. Our Cronkite News team is covering the end of the legislative session from all angles. Alina Lee tracked down some key Democrats. Brittany Vermilia talked to the Republican leadership, and Tara Molina has the latest from the governor's office. Let's start with Alina.
I spoke to the Assistant Minority Leader of the House, Bruce Wheeler, who says their biggest accomplishment this season was stopping bad legislation from becoming law. The Democrats' main concern during the legislative session were issues dealing with child protective services, funding for daycare, and domestic violence prevention programs.
The whole crisis around CPS, to be honest, has so far been completely ignored.
And funding the new CPS agency wasn't their only concern.
Education, which is a high priority for all of us, particularly Democrats. None of the restoration funding from 2008 levels occurred.
Wheeler also says that because education wasn't funded, tuition at universities has gone up by almost 60% since 2008. Representative Wheeler says legislation the Democrats were able to stop included bills that would restrict abortions and a number of pro-gun bills. Live in the broadcast center, Alina Lee, Cronkite News.
Thank you, Alina. Now let's talk to reporter Brittany Vermilia. Now, Brittany, what did we see from the Republicans this session?
Megan, I talked to Representative John Kavanaugh, and he said the Republicans had a theme with their legislation this session: pro-business, pro-safety, and pro-constitutional rights.
We want to spend less, they want to spend more. We want less government regulation, they want more government regulation. That's the difference between liberals and conservatives. They're in the minority, so their agenda can't be passed.
The Republican-controlled legislature supported less government regulation and stronger Second Amendment rights. They backed bills such as HB 2339 that would allow guns in some government buildings. Governor Jan Brewer vetoed that bill.
She's the governor, and there'll be a different governor next year, and voters willing, I'll be back and I'll run the bill again.
And then there was the budget, signed by the governor without the support of many of her party members.
We need a governor who is a strong fiscal conservative, who is willing to put the brakes on.
But overall, Representative Kavanaugh's thoughts on the session.
Short and sweet, but maybe a little too sweet in the money.
The Republicans did have some success passing 2 gun bills into law they think is crucial for Second Amendment rights. I'm Brittany Vermilia, Cronkite News.
Now the focus shifts to the governor's office. This is the last opportunity Jan Brewer has to enact new laws before she leaves office next January. Here's Tara Molina.
There is a pile of bills on the governor's desk today. One would rush the approval process of the school voucher program. Another would make it easier to prosecute someone who assists in a suicide. And one would create a memorial for the fallen hotshots of the Yarnell Hill fire. The 2014 legislative session ended at 1:45 a.m. And late last night, the House approved another bill that's going to the governor. HB 2262 would regulate ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft. The bill would also exempt those companies from some insurance costs. At the Capitol, I'm Tara Molina, Cronkite News.
And even though the official time is up for the legislature, Governor Brewer may be on the brink of calling a special session, which would bring lawmakers back to the Capitol to figure out the future of Arizona's child welfare program. We'll track the latest from the Capitol in the days ahead. Now Nathan Delatorre joins us with some key issues for our Valley veterans and some federal workers.
That's right, Megan. You know, today dozens of veterans came out to celebrate the grand opening of a new veterans clinic in Gilbert. But still, there's a lot of major controversy surrounding their healthcare system. Today was the ribbon cutting for the opening of a new facility near Val Vista and the 202. The hope is it will cut down on wait times for about 14,000 veterans across the East Valley. But for some, it may come too late. After accusations that 40 veterans have died awaiting medical care at Arizona VA facilities. But Susan Bowers with the Veterans Healthcare Network says they know access to care is an issue, but say this new location is going to help.
So we're working on infrastructure, we're working on processes, we're working on staffing, increasing the number of staff that we have, and we will fix this problem.
Now, this outpatient facility is double the size of the clinic in Mesa, and they say they'll focus on radiology, rehabilitation, and mental health services for Valley veterans. Another national debate hit the Valley this morning. Protesters got some attention outside an East Phoenix Staples store, part of a national movement by U.S. postal workers. Reporter Sophia Solis was there.
The U.S. Postal Center announced in October that more than 80 Staples locations will open postal counters. Arizona postal workers are trying to prevent this, arguing that it is the first step in privatizing a government-run agency. Members of the American Postal Workers Union argue that this move will cut jobs, many of them held by veterans. They also worry that postal workers will be replaced by low-wage and minimally trained Staples employees, which the union argues cannot be good for the economy.
The post office employees make a livable wage, and unfortunately other workers don't. The people need to start fighting for is growing the middle class, not shrinking it.
The Postal Workers Union says that this will not only affect workers but consumers as well, saying that mail processed through Staples will be unsecured until processed to the Postal Service. In Phoenix, Sophia Solis, Cronkite News.
Control and service also come into play in higher education.
That's right, Nathan, and many students attend community college because of its cheaper tuition. But a new hike in tuition might steer students away. The Maricopa County Community College District just approved that hike. It means students will pay $3 more per credit. That marks the second consecutive year for a tuition increase, and the $83 per credit rate has increased 63% over the past decade. Meantime, the debate over state funding for some schools has some programs cutting back on services.
That's right, Megan, but you know, schools are still finding unique ways to continue their specialized education experiences. Cronkite News reporter Annalise Ortiz takes a look inside the only foreign language immersion elementary program in the Scottsdale Unified School District.
Science, math, and reading are all essential skills for little learners. But speaking two languages,
being bilingual, makes you be worth two.
Pueblo Elementary School in Scottsdale operates as a foreign language immersion program. That means half of the subjects are taught in English. The other half is Spanish. From kindergarten to 5th grade, these students can already call themselves bilingual. It's an academic advantage. But test scores aren't the only way students benefit.
In Girl Scouts, I had a cookie booth, and there were these people, and they wanted to buy cookies, and they spoke Spanish, but since I'm in the FLI program, I was able to talk to them.
Pueblo is not a charter school.
We make it all work with the funding that any other regular school would get.
But maybe it's more than just the money.
Our school brings parents that are very involved. We're not a rich community when it comes to money, but we are a rich community when it comes to involvement.
Involvement that could inspire other schools to enrich their classrooms. In Scottsdale, Annalise Ortiz, Cronkite News.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
I'm Shane, this is Zara, and we are live on Taylor Mall in downtown Phoenix, where street-side dining is the norm.
That's right, Shane. We'll tell you about a new trend, pursuing healthier food options and giving fast food a run for its money.
Tours have hit Washington, D.C., and I'll have more on how, although they bring money, they also bring headaches.
Kiss me. That's my kind of man. You've been creating quite a stir.
The winter you've been waiting for is on PBS.
You must choose either death
life. All the drama.
There's going to be changes at downtown.
It's getting harder to say no.
The adventure.
The waves are breaking all around us.
And the spectacle of nature.
We're going to show how special these animals are.
Come in from the cold. Support the one place that can take you any place.
Welcome back to Cronkite NewsWatch. Shane and I are here on the streets of downtown Phoenix, where food and tourism play an important role in this community.
That's right. When it's not too hot, downtown Phoenix is a great place to be, whether it's over across the street at the park behind me or just pulling up a seat at this restaurant right next to me. Now, fast casual dining is a new concept which has really picked up steam in downtown Phoenix. It offers a great way to not only get fast food, but fresh and healthy food as well. Cronkite News reporter Esteban da Silva tells us how it's not only picking up in downtown Phoenix, but all across the valley as well.
Healthy eating for a good price doesn't always come easy, but Chipotle is on board with the idea. Last week, they introduced Sofritas tofu at their Arizona restaurants, their first vegan-friendly item. Chipotle discovered long ago that fast casual dining can be successful.
Having that ability to walk into a restaurant and get good quality food and get it for a reasonable price, it's something that that consumers love.
The term fast casual is new to most people. Basically, it's higher quality food without the table service, and it's taken the country in Arizona by storm. Hummus Express has fast casual dining with a Mediterranean twist.
There was no places in Arizona really that served Mediterranean in 3 minutes and tasted great.
The demand for fresh ingredients, along with allowing the customer to mix and match their toppings, is what makes fast casual dining a real success.
People are really starting to get out of their mac and cheese comfort zone and venture off. So I definitely see more fast food places either changing their image or just closing down.
And the push for healthier choices is forcing fast food restaurants to provide some new options as well. In Tempe, Esteban da Silva, Cronkite News.
Our springtime weather is drawing people outside here in the valley. Weekend events are going on non-stop, like the ones going on in Civic Space Park. But back in the nation's capital, it's tourism season as well. Cronkite News reporter Mackenzie Scott caught up with some Arizona tourists that were hitting the capital. Mackenzie, what'd they have to say?
Zara, everywhere you go at this time of year in Washington, you see them. Tourists. Poring over maps, rocking their backpacks, and gawking at the sights. For DC residents, it's a mixed blessing.
Tourists are great. You know, it's great to see fresh faces, you know, from different communities, different cities. But also it's a headache, you know, because getting to work in the morning on the metro is a pain.
For tourists like Arizona high school kids, just some of the millions who come to the city in a typical year, it's all good.
The intensity of just being in the nation's capital has proven more rich than anything they could experience in their own classroom.
That in-person experience means a lot to the capital's economy.
Our industry really equals jobs for the American economy, and that's true across every state and every major city.
The economics of tourism may be the same from city to city, but there are some unique differences in Washington, like unwritten rules. Locals say they love the energy that tourists bring, but they wish they knew the proper way to ride the escalator.
They don't understand the etiquette of riding the metro.
Some guy came up behind me and he's like, you need to move him. Excuse me? He's all, right side's for non-moving people. Oh.
Saturday, and the U.S. Travel Association says that it's international tourism that's having the highest growth. Live in Washington, Mackenzie Scott, Cronkite News.
Now, if you're planning a little in-state tourism, the National Park Service just announced that the North Rim of the Grand Canyon will reopen on May 15th.
Now, that's only if the weather cooperates. The road to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon is usually closed seasonally due to snow, but since we didn't really receive much snow in the high country this year, I really don't think they're going to have much of a problem. Now, one last tip for you, if you do decide to trek up to the north, be sure to make a reservation with the National Park Service and also give a call to a friend or family member to let them know you're going to be going.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
One Arizona fire department fights 2 different kinds of fires. Find out more with your weather next.
One of the really big things I will always remember for the rest of my life.
You're lugging around all of your equipment, you are doing all of the work, and that's what makes it so fulfilling to me.
Being an anchor, I think it's a privilege. I enjoy every moment of it.
Seeing your show on air, it is one of the most surreal feelings ever.
What if we could unlock every mystery?
We're at the beginning of a revolution. That's a huge discovery.
That's never been done before, ever, anywhere. Touchdown.
No one feeds on curiosity like PBS. Give to your PBS station so future generations can keep asking, what if?
I am a chef. I cook for a living. And I think of PBS as a window to the world. That kind of place where you feel you are part of the story. I want to be part of every possible world is out there. That's when things become really amazing. And when you are able to see stories that make you wonder, makes you think, that's what really makes PBS so meaningful. And that's the kind of TV we need to be supporting today.
Welcome back to Cronkite NewsWatch. Arizona's wildfire season is underway. In fact, right now there are 2 large wildfires burning in our state, covering more than 415 acres. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Wells went to Apache Junction to meet the local firefighters who are actually keeping their eye on the entire state.
Wildfire season is a big concern here in Arizona because of our dry conditions, and I was surprised to learn that training for this team is a year-round commitment. In the 20 years Mark Gomez has been fighting fires, one battle is burned into his mind.
The only way I can describe that rodeo Chetaskai fire is that of a freight train.
Gomez and his Apache Junction firefighters are ready year-round for fires in their own backyard and for the ones burning around the state. This wildfire team is made up of 25 people, and they train over 2 hours a week. The team may get pulled in 2 directions, fighting fires on several fronts, but home is always protected.
We don't leave the fire district without coverage when we go out to cover a wildland assignment.
With the added job of fighting wildfires comes the added risk, something they're reminded of when they think of the 19 firefighters who died in the Yarnell Hill fire last year. Despite that, Gomez says the rewards outweigh the risks.
For us, or for me, it's something that I've always been brought up in doing. It's something natural for us, for any member of our department.
And as long as there are fires, his team will be there to put them out.
This is our job, this is what we signed up to do, and it's just something that comes natural to all of our members.
Taking a look at our satellite radar, you can see that while the rest of the country is being slammed with rain, here in Arizona, we're not getting any at all. And taking a closer look at the state at the satellite radar, you can see just how dry we really are. And that's why we have so many wildfires here. Now, down in the south near Tucson and Sierra Vista, they're dealing with the Brown Fire. And up in the north near Flagstaff, they're dealing with the Fisher Fire. And combined, they're covering more than 400 acres and putting our state on high alert and putting other states on high alert as well. As you can see, this fire down near Tucson is threatening to move into New Mexico, and this fire up near Flagstaff, now that's threatening parts of the high country as well. And these wind speeds are doing nothing to help put out these fires. As you can see in the Grand Canyon, winds are moving at about 13 miles per hour. In Flagstaff, those winds are moving about 18 miles per hour as well. And again, just doing nothing to contain those fires. But here in Arizona, here in Phoenix, we have winds moving at about 7 miles per hour. We're currently at about 90 degrees, and we do have some cloud coverage. And we will have the cloud coverage over the next few days. As you can see, Friday and Saturday, we have some clouds, and Saturday we can expect some rain, but Sunday, the sun is gonna come and the temperatures are going to rise. We'll have a high of 88 on Monday with a low of 64, a high of 92 on Tuesday with a low of 63. That's it for your Cronkite weather. I'm Lauren Wells.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
We'll show you how the Arizona Diamondbacks spoiled history.
And how a ligament half the size of a Starbucks coffee stirrer can ruin a multi-million-dollar career.
A tradition of excellence, integrity, and innovation.
The second I came in, I fell in love with the program.
The Cronkite School propels students into the new era of journalism.
Students are learning
digital, entrepreneurial, and collaborative labs encourage students to shape the future of the industry, and the industry is watching.
We have come here to meet with students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism.
The Cronkite School, the journalism school for the digital age.
What if television could sweep us away to another time and place?
Very nice, my lady.
And could take us from the Gilded Age to the Great War. From the heat of the chase to the heart of a queen. No one tells stories like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring stories like these to life. What if television could remember the heroes we honored, the music we danced to, the dreams we chased?
The hope still lives, and the dream shall never die.
No one tells our nation's story like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring America's story to life.
Time for sports. We're here in front of ASU's nursing building. I'm Nick Merrick, joined alongside Jeff Platt. Now you're probably wondering why we're here. Well, there's an interesting theme today in sports: injuries. But before we get into that, Jeff, the Arizona Diamondbacks showed a pulse against Chicago Cubs, spoiling their 100th year anniversary at Wrigley and trying to avoid the sweep. Cubs fans were celebrating early, but the 1914 throwback jerseys brought back a curse in the 9th inning. Aaron Hill drives the ball to right field, and Justin Ruggiano unable to make the play. Diamondbacks score 2 runs on the triple and take the game 7-5. Ruggiano needs some help getting off the field, and the D-backs' nightmare season turned into a horror film. Outfielder Mark Trumbo was placed on the 15-day disabled list due to a stress fracture in his foot.
And Nick, that's only one injury. Pat Corbin benched for the entire year with Tommy John surgery, tearing his UCL right here. It's only about 3 inches long, but it's going to ruin his entire season. And as I found out, he's only one of many experiencing this.
I thought I was going to have to take about like 3 to 2 months off of baseball.
AJ is 9 years old and is finishing his recovery at Tobler Physical Therapy for an elbow injury. Part of a trend Dr. Mike Strand says he's seeing too often.
And these kids come in and with their parents and they say, hey, just give me a Tommy John and I'll be okay.
Tommy John surgery, also known as an ulnar collateral ligament reconstruction, has become excessively common. In 2014, more than a dozen MLB pitchers suffered a tear of the UCL, and it only starts there.
I don't think you get to just look at it at the pro level.
Dr. Strand says part of the problem is UCL injuries aren't being discussed early enough.
I think we got to look back and educate and have responsible parents all the way back to Little League.
But what is it that drives pitchers to the point of a tear in the first place?
Winning. There's no replacement for the feeling of winning.
And like all true athletes, AJ is hungry for the win.
I just want the ball.
AJ didn't have Tommy John surgery, and he plans to be back on the mound shortly. But Dr. Strand warns that he and all pitchers should proceed with caution.
I'd like to tell the athletes, you know, treat it like church. Come late, leave early.
And even though Dr. Strand is hesitant to let AJ go all out, he's looking forward to seeing AJ throw the heat.
It is exciting to see an athlete injured and then to come back in a year and throw amazing pitches.
Now, taking things over to the ice, Jeff, we've seen some great games in the NHL playoffs.
Yes, Nick, we have, and with great games come great hits, and we've seen plenty in the first round.
And tough moment for the Avalanche in Game 3. Matt Cook bumps knees with Tyson Barrie. Barrie out at least 1 month with an MCL tear, and Cook gets suspended 7 games. Taking things to the Blackhawks and Blues, Brent Seabrook smashed David Backes into the boards from behind. Backes a bit woozy and has yet to return to the ice. Seabrook dissed a 3-game suspension, and fortunately his team didn't need him last night. Third overtime game of the series. Patrick Kane already 1 goal. Snipe City top shelf. Chicago wins to tie the series at 2 games apiece. That's it for sports. For Jeff Platt, I'm Nick Merrick with your Cronkite Sports Update.
Thanks, you guys. That's it for Cronkite NewsWatch tonight. You can find us online anytime at CronkiteNewsOnline.com. On behalf of our entire news team, thanks for joining us. Good night.